find out that you had completed 20 passes in a row?
Man, I found that out after the game. Yeah, found out after, and it's pretty cool to hear. But something that you're not even really thinking about during the game.
Have you ever had a streak like that you can recall?
No,
Not that. High school, college.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know who keeps stats like that in high school. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
Kids seem to know how many points they always score.
Yeah. I don't know. Probably the first time ever. Yeah.
To have a game like that, NFC Offensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Week, and everything, in the head-to-head matchup with Aaron, does it take any kind of weight off your shoulders or do anything for you moving forward to have a game like that on your resume now?
No, definitely. I think anytime you play well, it's always a confidence booster. For you, as a team, as an offense, come away with a win, to be able to put up a good second half like that, I think all those things are confidence boosters. I think, getting the player of the week, I think those are just, cool accolades for the side. But I think, obviously, the way you go out there and play, playing well gives you confidence going forward.
The fact it was that particular matchup with Aaron, does that do anything for you as well? Or?
Man, I think that's just all kind of part of it. I think, coming in this week, like I said before, I knew kind of what this week entailed, and I tried to just focus on doing my best and coming out there and getting a win for the team, regardless who was on the other side. You don't want to put too much into that, but I think, like I said before, just the way we played, coming away with a win on a big-time game, Sunday Night Football, I think all those are confidence boosters.
Coming off the high, off of that, how do you guys not look past this Sunday knowing that a week from after that it's prime time again against the Eagles?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think just keeping the main thing, trying to take it 1 week at a time like we talked about. I think we've been in this position before. We've learned, coming off a 2-game win streak and lose one, on the road. So I think we've learned that you can never look past any team. You got to take it 1 week at a time, and you got to be your best on Sunday. So I think we're going to have a great week of prep. I think that's the message that everyone's talking about. But we got a good Panthers team who's been winning coming in, so we got to handle business.
Your thoughts on the helmets and the jerseys? I know you guys were rocking those helmets today.
Yeah, no, they're interesting. I think they're something different that it's a cool little opportunity to rock a different uniform. I think here we don't stray away too much from the green and gold. So to be wearing the navy blue and the brown, it's a little bit different, but let's do it.
Jordan, you and Matt have both talked about the offense trying to reach another level of consistency, avoid those lulls and whatnot. So when you do have a 3-and-out on offense, like as the quarterback, what's it like walking off the field in that moment, and kind of what's the process on the sideline after a 3-and-out?
It's tough. I think anytime you go 3-and-out, it just feels like you're barely on the field. It feels like you didn't do anything. Definitely didn't help the defense out at all. And I think for us, as talented as we are on offense, I think it's just disappointing anytime we go 3-and-out. And whether that's, it could be so many different factors, whether it's penalties, moving you back, or just not executing the plays right, or defense just having good calls and them executing at a better level than you. But it's whatever the factor is, it's always disappointing.
And what's the sideline process like when you just run 3 plays and then you're back looking at pictures? I mean, just kind of what are you guys talking about? What are you going through?
Yeah, I think anytime you go 3-and-out, you go back to the sideline, you're trying to figure out what we need to do, play call wise, to see what they're doing, what they did well, and how we can take advantage of that next time we're out there. I think that's always the process when you come back to the sideline, is reviewing the clips on the iPad and seeing what they did, and trying to figure out what we can get to next.
From your vantage point, what has just been the conversation regarding how to get your guys' run game going a little bit more this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's always been something we've been talking about, trying to get that going. And I think, week in, week out, you've seen improvements, but I think just the consistency. You got to find ways to be more consistent with it. I think there's a lot of factors for that as well. I think early on teams were trying to take away the run, and they were loading the box and trying to force us to pass it. And I think we did a good job of doing that. So I think you just got to take advantage of those situations and passing situations to kind of get them out of those loaded box, and then I think it'll open up the run game more. But I think there's so many things where you just look at the details, the tracks we're running, the way we're blocking it up, and just finding a way to be as consistent, lock into the details, and go out there and execute.
Jordan, after the Washington game when Tucker had the big game the first time, did you see the next few teams try to cover him differently? And if so, how do you combat that?
Yeah, no, I haven't really seen too much or noticed too much of teams trying to find different ways to stop him. And I mean, I think, the only types of things I've seen from that with guys trying to take a certain player away is, either doubling them or, trying to stay with kind of a too high shell where you're kind of getting a double on guys. But, I haven't seen too much of that, and, it's something that we'll keep following going forward and trying to find ways to keep getting him the ball and seeing if if that's their focus, is trying to take him away and do things to do that. But no, I think we've been getting different coverages every week, and I think it's just trying to find ways to put different guys ball in the hands. But I haven't seen anything to strictly take away Tucker.
Having Christian back last week, how much of a difference did you notice in terms of just the opportunities you had, the options you had because of his presence?
Yeah, no, I think it's great to have Christian back out there, and it's one of those things where he made every play that came his way. I feel like in the game, I think he had 4 catches on 4 targets. They're all pretty big plays, so you love to see that. Obviously, for a guy who's missed so much practice and playing time, it's tough to be able to get back in that kind of rhythm right off the bat, and he did a good job of doing that. So, we'll keep building that thing with him, but we know what type of player Christian is, and defense has got to know where he's at, respect him. He's a big playmaker for us.
Jordan, you have that throw to him in the middle of the field, and then you also have the one to Tuck where you're getting lit up. I don't know if Sean's grading system is different than Tom's, but are those plus all the way through, or are the decisions minuses? How are those 2 throws graded? Because they obviously turn out to be great plays.
Yeah, definitely a different grading system for sure. Sean, we got a different system than what Tom had. But yeah, it's more we're just talking about it in the room. The one to Tuck, it's one of those ones where, we're getting the right coverage we want for the play. Got the great matchup, and I'm trying to sit in the pocket, and they're doing a great job of able to get pressure and able to get to me, and I'm getting hit while I'm throwing it. So, you never want that to happen. You never want to put the ball in harm's way and the ball kind of just be floating up in the air. But, Tuck made me right there, and he came back to the ball, made a great play. So it worked out. It's one of those things where you're just playing ball, and it's tough. I don't know what else. You can coach on that play, but, maybe dirt it or try and get it up earlier. But there's not much you can do. And then I think you said the one to Christian over the middle.
Where it's just over that defender jumps and tries to get it. Right over his fingertips. I mean, it looked like you put it right where you want it.
I can't think of which one this is.
It's
The 3rd and long,
yeah.
and the 3rd.
I think you
Oh yeah, the post,
Yeah.
the post. Yeah, okay, yeah. That's one where we talked about that one of being, a late decision, a bad, mortal sin as a quarterback of throwing late across the middle, which it is, and it worked out, and there's been instances where it hasn't worked out. So it's one of those ones where, you got to figure out how to play the play in the moment, and weigh that risk. If you think Christian's going to be able to get to it, if I'm going to be able to put it where I need to, and it worked out, and it's one of those ones you kind of just learn from, put in the back pocket, and move forward.
Yeah, but this play to Watson, 33 yards over the middle. I'm watching you, and I'm thinking, oh God, this is taking a long time. I drop the binoculars, and you still got 13 seconds on the clock, and you're just there, looking around, touching your helmet. And then you make that play. And Christian said, yeah, he changed it twice. And that's where I see the whole offense is in sync, right? No one's jumping off sides. I mean, you got to give yourself a good grade on that one in terms of the command of the offense there, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, we jumped the ball, went no huddle, and got to a formation. So, I mean, that whole process is the operation. It's got to be clean, and that's everybody being dialed in, being on the same page. At the line of scrimmage here in the protection, we changed the protection and we changed the route. So it just takes everybody being on the same page, being dialed in, and like you said, to be able to not get any penalties in that situation. It's all in the operation that we practice every week. So it's cool to see that stuff come to life, like you said, and then to make a big time play. But I'll take it. It's a big time play. I think those explosion plays kind of change the outcome of the game for sure.
Panthers making a lot of explosive plays this season so far. How are you going to work around that? Are you using more short plays, or what are you thinking?
Say it again, sorry.
The Panthers have stopping a lot of explosive plays this season. How are you going to work around that?
Yeah, no, I think they do a good job on defense of, staying in that shell. They don't want to give up big time plays, and you can see that all over the tape as they do a good job of that. I think we were looking at a stat, they're one of the highest in the league, like you said, of least explosive plays hit on them. So you just got to do a good job of taking what's there sometimes, and finding those little, whether it's a check down, whether it's just hitting a guy over the middle, they drop step and maximizing all those yards. And when those opportunities do come to hit a big play down the middle or over the top, we got to hit on that. You got to maximize those opportunities when they come.
Jordan, Matt's indicated a couple times that teams have kind of switched up their tendencies on you, like if they're a two-shell team, they might not be, or if they are the opposite. So what do you do if you've got a game plan, you're expecting them one way, and they start playing you a different way? How does that affect you, and is that everything done on the sideline at that point?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends what our game plan going into it is, whether we have a lot of universal type plays for third downs that are good versus, any coverage, or if we have, kind of specific beaters for the certain coverage we think we're going to get. And, like you said, if they switch that up, those are all the in-game adjustments where you got to go to the sideline, figure out kind of what their flavor of the day is and what they're trying to do to stop us or what's different than we thought, and adjust and find plays that are going to beat that. But those are all the in-game adjustments that happen, and like you said, a lot of teams have done that, and that's kind of been what we've been seeing. So whether it's just having those universal plays that work versus a lot of different coverages or switching stuff up mid-game, you just got to be dialed in, and guys have got to be locked in for that.
Do you think that's something that's a show of respect for you, that teams are kind of going off profile to figure out a way to stop you guys?
I mean, I think it's a little bit of everything. I think it's, they know the play caller and what Matt is good at. He's good at dialing up some of these plays, and maybe they're just trying to switch that up to kind of throw us off, or, that could be whatever reason for the offense in particular for me. So, it's one of those things where you just got to come into the game knowing that they might change their game plan and be ready for that. But it's one of those things that just happens on the fly. So it's hard to prepare for some of that stuff.
How do you feel like your comfort has grown with Romeo over the years to where it is now?
It's definitely something that we've put a lot of work in since Romeo got here. I remember when Aaron was still here, and we're doing work on the side together, and I'm taking some of these reps, getting reps with Rome, and we've done a lot of stuff in the offseason together. So it's something that's been building, and I'm happy to see Rome. I know he's capable of, and I'm happy to see him go out there, and he's been balling lately and making some big time plays. So I think he's in a great place right now, but it's definitely something that we've put a lot of work in. Rome puts a lot of work in on the side on his own, catching jugs and doing different things and just staying locked into the plan, knowing where he needs to be. So it's just a testament to all the work.
Is it nice to see Jaden out there on the jugs machine and back out with the
Jay Reed?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's kind of the same situation as we saw with Christian, doing his rehab, grinding on the side and knowing that he's going to come back at some point. So for sure, anytime you see Jay Reed out there, we're excited. We're excited to hopefully get him back soon. And, he's definitely putting in the work with rehab and trying to come back. But definitely it's a process for him trying to get back and heal. But it's nice to see him.
Two more for Jordan. Hey, Jordan, just with Emmanuel, what kind of growth have you seen from him? His third year now, it seems like it's been a steady progression for him. And obviously having the second half he did on Sunday.
Yeah, no, I was happy for him as well. He had a big time, like you said, a lot of big time plays in this game, whether it was in the run game and the pass game. So, he's been a guy who's been steady too. He's been growing, working on his game, and obviously it's been a lot of work. He splitting reps and with Josh taking most of the reps, obviously, and then splitting that time. He's making the most of his opportunities, and I think he's going to keep getting more and more as the season goes on.
Jordan, I think we've established you're not perfect, even though you try to be. I'm curious, you have the pick in Cleveland, you have kind of the end of the game in Dallas. You have made every clutch throw ever since. Were those you were probably disappointed in yourself on them? Were those really big growth moments for you that you said, I don't know what you said, but did it change anything for you? Because the way you've responded to them has been remarkable.
I mean, I think everything's a growth opportunity. You talk about that game, you talk about years past games. You go all the way back to playoff game in San Fran, ending the game on a pick. So there's so many moments that are learning opportunities that you get back in these situations again in the games when it's the most critical times. You got to go make plays, and you take all those experiences and just kind of learn from them and stack them all and understand that in some of these situations you got to go out there and make plays, and you got to make some of these tight contested throws. But it's all about being smart. So I think I've learned from all those mistakes, and definitely even when we have positive plays and go out there and maybe win the game on a 2-minute drill, you just learn from all this stuff, stack it, and that's something that we've been, I think, focusing a lot on this season, is being better in some of these 2-minute situations. We practice it every week, and I think we've done a great job of just putting ourselves in some of these situations. Kind of, Matt's doing a good job of just kind of making them himself, where it's like not just we're just driving the ball 2 minutes and seeing how the situation plays out, but he's kind of stopping and be like, hey, no, this is a first down here, or this is how much time's left. So we're practicing more some of these situations, and I think that stuff's helping, and it's paying off. But no, I mean, like you said, I think we've answered the bell every time we needed to, and it's something we just got to keep finding ways to do that, because these situations are going to keep coming up, and we're going to have to go out there and win more games. So we just got to keep doing that.